Top 10 photos taken moments before disaster. Hello, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program Hardcore with Tabernus Interplanetary. Check it out. We have a beautiful 4-satellite, low Kerbin orbit relay communications network. I'm still basking in the beauty of this thing from our last video. Today, we're going to see if it works. But first, let's just quickly rename these so that we have some idea what's going on. Okay, so since we should have communication all the way around Kerbin now, and since we've still got that annoying mission to recover a mystery goo experiment from space, let's launch an autonomous science probe and land it somewhere on Kerbin we've never been before. That should be a good test. Viarja, our basic relay satellite platform. We'll make some modifications to this and turn it into an autonomous science vessel. We're going to want all of that and not much of this. Okay, now I don't think we're going to want those 4 relay antennas because being as they have to be deployed to be useful, they're going to break up on re-entry. Now we are still going to need multiple antenna, so that they can combine to make enough strength to reach out to 2.5 million kilometers. Nope. Yep. Looks good. Right now we've still got connection back to KSC. We might actually need to put more fuel on this thing in order to get far enough from KSC to test out our relay network. Well, we'll see what happens. Get rid of our launch stage. Oh, we didn't include a separator. Ha ha ha. Sayonara, viewers would do. Later. Okay, so we've learned some valuable lessons about the limitations of our current antennae. So, despite our beautiful relay network, we're not quite yet going to be able to do as much autonomously on Kerbin as we'd hoped. But while we save up for the science tech tree upgrades, and building upgrades that'll get us the better antennas, we can explore in the other direction. Let's use our relay network to go to the goddamn moon. Oh. Alright, so our relay satellite here can probably become a moon lander with relatively minimal changes. We're going to remove some of the fuel from this top stage so that it can be nice and light on the way down to the lunar surface. I don't think we need that heavy SAS. I'm going to put on a light one though, rather than simply relying on the reaction wheel inside the probe because it's tiny. Battery, solar panels, reaction wheel, fuel tank, engines. Now what we're going to do, let's look at our number of parts. We have 3 parts free right now. We're going to pull off these fins because the gimbal and those thuds is actually giving us plenty of maneuverability in the atmosphere. And what we're going to do is we're going to add an intermediary stage. Standard launch profile. We're going to be more careful here with our gravity turn than we usually have been because we're really trying to eke the most out of the delta V we have here. Recently we've been flying all those relay sats. We've got a pretty large margin for error. We should have enough fuel here, but we don't really have enough that we can afford to waste any. So we keep a close eye on our thrust to weight ratio. We're going to start that turn, start feathering ourselves down now. We don't want to get too far ahead, especially without the fins. It would be easy for us to spin out of control here. Okay, once our prograde comes down to where we are, we're going to start holding prograde. We're going to thrust down a little bit more. Hopefully this first stage gets us to the point where our apoapsis is above the atmosphere. Just about exactly. So we want to start burning our carrier when we're pretty much in no atmosphere at all because its efficiency goes way up. Okay, let's separate our stages. And we're burning. We're going to keep burning prograde. Okay, our apoapsis is up to 90. We're going to stop burning now, and we're going to cruise to our apoapsis, again, to preserve delta V. We don't want to get right to the apoapsis because, as we learned before, this engine can take a while to circularize. But we can take a little break from our burn. Let's start burning now and see what happens. Yeah, so our time to apoapsis is dropping slowly. But hopefully it should start to peak back up again pretty soon before it hits 0. With a Terrier engine, if we find that we're still burning when we've already reached our apoapsis as we circularize over Kerbin, then we're probably never going to circularize. In most cases, at least. So I watch this timed apoapsis here. Obviously, if we weren't burning, it would be dropping at 1 second per second. And the fact that it's dropping at about 1 second every 5 seconds is good news for us, and I expect that shortly before it gets to 0, it's going to actually start climbing back up. Hopefully, at least. Because as we continue to burn this orbit out, our apoapsis is being pushed further and further ahead of us. Just right now, it's being pushed at a slightly slower speed than we're catching up to it, but look at this. 11.9, and we're going back up again. Perfect. We've managed to start circularizing without reaching the apoapsis. We couldn't really have timed it much better. And our periapsis is in space, so we can afford to simply cruise now and wait until our optimal moment to burn for the moon. Now, as you might remember from our ill-fated flyby, there's a convenient trick when you don't have maneuver nodes yet, which we don't, which is that you can simply speed up time and wait for the moon to come over the horizon and immediately start burning prograde. Where are you, moon? There it is. And full burn. And we go into map view and watch our orbit grow. For this mission, we're not flying in the atmosphere. Our relay satellites are working perfectly. We've done almost a complete orbit, and we haven't lost connection once. Got a nice strong signal here. Couldn't really ask for better. We're going to need to be cautious on our approach to the moon that we are landing on the near side of the moon. Because if we orbit the moon, then whenever we go to the back side of the moon and we get the moon itself in between our ship and Kerbin, it's also going to be occluding us from our relay satellite network, and we're going to lose control. None of our missions care if we orbit the moon. Get our atmospheric pressure scan. Look at all that science we've got. That's one step closer to better antenna. Now let's check our trajectory. The closer we get to the moon, the more it's going to cost us in delta V to change our orbit. So it's sort of the opposite of the abort effect. It's worth pointing out. If we want to make planar changes or radial changes to our orbit, then it's better to be further away from the celestial body. If you're trying to get the most bang for your buck when burning prograde, that's when you want to be close to a celestial body. Now we can see conveniently here with Kerbal Engineer, we've got this suicide burn delta V, 828 meters per second. That's telling us how much delta V we'll need if we make the most efficient burn possible to come to a dead stop right at the surface of the moon. We have 100 to spare. This is going to be tight. Now it also gives us an estimate of when we need to start burning to do that, but I'll tell you something. From experience, you can't rely on that too much. So we're going to set our speed relative to the surface here. So we can see that we're moving at 480 meters per second relative to the surface. We have more than enough delta V easily, twice as much as we need to cancel that. But as you can see, we keep accelerating. So we're going to wait until our suicide burn countdown here gets to under a minute for sure. And we're going to do a partial burn to bleed off a bunch of our speed close to the surface. And we're not going to do maximum efficiency because we're going to have a second burn right before landing. But we're going to try and waste as little as possible without taking too much of a risk by doing that like burn from maximum speed to 0 right as we come in at top speed to the ground. So our delta V suggestion for the suicide burn is staying pretty stable at 28. So we're going to start at about 10 seconds before it says to. That should be enough margin of error that we aren't killing ourselves. Burn. But not too much that we don't have enough delta V for our second burn. Now hopefully these crater walls... Okay, stop. Hopefully these crater walls aren't steep enough to occlude us from our relay satellites. But we still have a very strong signal right now, so I'm feeling good about it. Look at that. Top 10 photos taken moments before disaster. Oh, we don't want to land in the dark there. Start the burn now. And just hope that we can cut our horizontal speed enough that we don't land down on that dark ridge. Getting prepared to switch to stability assist. No, we're going to land in the dark. But I'm pretty sure this is not going to be a fatal crash. And burn. Stability assist off. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh god. We burned too much. We're flying back up. This is dangerous. It's saying for a safe landing now, we need 36 delta V. We have 30. If we hit the ground at exactly 6 meters per second, that's fine. We're going to wait till slightly after our safe suicide burn moment. Nope, we're not. Oh, it's going to be hard landing. We lost one. We lost two. We're sliding. Let's transmit these. In case this is our last chance. Mystery Goo 2. Okay, I'm not sure what we can do here in terms of trying to slow down our descent. I don't want to start tumbling. If we lose those last two antennae, we're done for. We're speeding up as we fall. That is a steep goddamn hill. Look at this. It's a hell of a toboggan ride. Man, if we can just like dig our probe in without... Nope, we're getting faster. It's getting faster. Nope, that's not helping. Oh god. Well, it's been fun, guys. What was that blowing up? Our engine? Oh. Okay. Well, we landed on the moon. Did we? No. Oh, we got one of our landed biomes. Okay, well, proof of concept, right?